Hi, it's Paul from Webinar Expert. In today's video, I'd like to talk about choosing the correct hardware in order to run your webinar efficiently. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is the camera. Sometimes the built-in webcam for your PC or Mac may be okay, but it might be positioned in a place that's not going to give you good eye contact with your audience. I've seen laptops where the webcam is kind of right down below, so the camera's like gazing up your nose. So I would strongly recommend that you buy a separate camera, such as a Logitech 920 or a Logitech Brio, which is the one I use. Then you can position it anywhere and possibly on a mount stand to get the right position and the right angle for the lighting. And also the image quality will be really good. When you're talking to your audience, it's really important to get good engagement so that you form a human connection with them. And a good camera image will help to do that. The next thing is a microphone. In terms of forming that human connection, good voice quality will also help you to connect with your audience. Once again, some cameras and PCs have built-in microphones, and that's fine for sort of casual calls, but you may find that during a webinar, you really want to have good voice quality. So I'd recommend getting a quality microphone, such as a Sennheiser or a Blue Yeti, or something of that nature. But spend a bit of money, get a good microphone, the sound quality will be good, your audience will make a human connection with you, and you'll get a better engagement level. The third thing to talk about is lighting. Now this is really, really important. I tend to sort of film in front of a window where I get lots of natural daylight coming in, and in my office I have lots of daylight bulbs fitted to some downlighters. So I haven't bought any specific lighting for camera usage. However, you may be in an office or a room where there's not much natural daylight, and if you look on Amazon, there's plenty of things on there such as ring lights and other things that will help you get illuminated properly. You want to try and avoid having shadows behind you. If you're using a green screen like I am today, then you want to have a sort of crisp outline, and good lighting and shadow avoidance is important for that. Natural daylight is great if you can, but obviously that also dictates what times of the day you're going to be doing your films. But lighting is so important. Have a play around with the camera, try filming in different positions, in different locations, see how the image comes out in the video when you've finished filming. Find a location where you can repeatedly perform your video recording so that you know if you stand in the right spot, with the camera in the right position, you're going to get repeatable results. So the next thing I'd like to talk about is your background. Now I've got a green screen, as I've mentioned just before. Now a green screen is a great tool because it allows you to superimpose any kind of background you want. So you can have your logo in there, your brand. You can even have videos running if you want to. Be careful though, because they can be a distraction from your audience. But if you just want to have something that's slightly interesting and doesn't distract from your webinar, then that may be a good thing to do. The other great thing about a green screen is if you're in a room that's not particularly tidy, you can just pop your green screen up and be in a really super smart office. So a green screen is really good for adding interest. If you're not using a green screen, I would suggest have a nice backdrop. You know, it's not very good if you sort of see lots of clutter and untidiness and that kind of thing. You want to look professional, so I would suggest that you have a nice tidy bookshelf with some nicely arranged plant pots or something of that nature. I'm sure you know the kind of thing, but make it look good, make it look professional, and make it look attractive for your viewers. Now another thing which is a great option is something called a stand-up desk. Now with some stand-up desks, they're motorised and they can go up and down at the push of a button, which means you can sit down to work at them for your normal kind of work, and then you can stand up for a webinar. Now standing up for webinar presentations is very, very important because you get better voice projection, you get better posture, your posture gives you confidence, you can move around, it gives you better energy for connecting with your audience. So I've got one here and I'm using it today. They're not mandatory, but they're a good thing to look into. But whatever way you go, I do recommend that you stand up to present your webinars because it just gives you a much better feel of energy when you're delivering your presentation to your audience. If you think about how you would do a presentation in a room full of people, chances are you would be standing on a platform with possibly a podium in front of you with your presentation notes there, and you'd be stood up. So I would suggest it's always good to stand up for a webinar anyway. And the final piece of hardware that I want to talk to you about today, and is a really, really, really important one, is an Ethernet cable. Now we all use Wi-Fi these days because it's so convenient and we get good connectivity, we get good speed. But when you're running a webinar, there's a lot of bandwidth being used. The video streaming is very resource hungry, very resource intensive. If you've got a hardwired connection to your router, you're going to get a far better, reliable, stable internet connection. Wi-Fi is prone to being interrupted by light switches being switched on, electrical appliances switching on and so forth. It can be a little bit flaky. So I would strongly recommend buy an Ethernet cable. They're just not very much money at all. They can run a long distance. Plug it into your router, and you'll get a faster internet connection speed, and your webinars will run much more reliably. So that's it. That's all I wanted to say today. I hope you found these tips useful. If you did, I'd be really grateful if you could like my video. There's a subscribe button down there somewhere if you'd like to receive future notifications about other videos on my channel. So I'd like to say thank you for your time. I wish you every success in your business, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.